Hi everyone, Kai here from the University of Birmingham Battle Re-enactment Society, or Batsoc for short. Today I want to take you through some of the kit that we use when we go to shows across the country, or when we go to training. Today I want to show you some of the armour that we wear. So we'll start with the lightest piece, and that would be this. This is the padded jacket, or gambeson, and it has long sleeves. It covers the torso, and it's made of many layers of quilted linen, stuffed with stuff like horsehair, cloth, or raw wool, historically, that is. And its primary aim is to protect the wearer against blunt force trauma, so blows coming in from axes and maces on the medieval battlefield. And this one's pretty true to form, but I don't think there's much horsehair in here. So that's how to protect against blunt force trauma, but what about slashing weapons like swords or cleavers? Well, the answer to that is in this bag. Now it's a little heavier, it's about 10 kilograms or 22 pounds, and this is a mail or chainmail hauberk or shirt. And it's made of thousands and thousands of interconnected, riveted steel links. The hauberk was quite a popular piece of armour during our period. We see it from the 11th through to the 13th century, but its form tends to change. So in the 11th century, at the time of William the Conqueror and the Battle of Hastings, we tend to see hauberks with shorter sleeves, so sleeves up to the elbow, which may or may not have an integrated mail hood or coif that goes on over the head. During the 12th century, we start to see the evolution of longer sleeves on hauberks, and the integrated mail hood or coif becomes the norm. And into the 13th century, starting from the end of the 12th, so the time of Richard the Lionheart, up until the Battle of Evesham and the time of Simon de Montfort, we start to see integrated mail hand protection, as well as things like mail chausses or legs. And what these are, constructed similarly to the hauberk, they start to gain prominence from the mid to late 12th century, and they're just like big socks essentially, but for the legs. They cover all the legs. They could be pulled on like big socks, or they could be tied at the back, and these offer, in combination with the hauberk, and paramount protection from slashing weapons on the battlefield, the ultimate form of medieval armour at the time. So that's the torso, and to an extent the legs. But what about the head? We've got to protect the head. So that's where this comes in, and it's the helmet. And this is a nasal helmet, one of the most common from the period, because we've found examples of it and we see it in manuscripts quite a lot. And it's characterised by the protective nasal bar. Now, nasal helmets could have been made of multiple pieces, secured together and then reinforced with reinforcing bands, or it could have been made of just one piece. And as time goes on, we tend to see that the one piece starts to take hold in manuscripts. But throughout the period, this helmet is really common. And during the 12th century, we start to see the evolution of different shapes of the skull. So we start to see the Phrygian shape, which is much like this, but the crown is pushed forward a little. And then we see the domed shape as well, which is much like this, but with a more domed profile. And of course, there were other variations and other completely different styles of helmets. So during the late 12th and early 13th, we start to see the introduction of face plates and what we like to call full face helmets. And these are helmets that cover the face at least, and they may cover sides of the head to an extent. And then in the 13th century, we start to see things like kettle helmets. And kettle helmets are helmets which have a brim, and they can protect the wearer against incoming debris or even projectiles to an extent. So that's about it on the armour that we use historically, but in practice there is one more piece, and that would be safety gloves. Now, we use padded safety gloves, which are covered in cloth or leather, and they are obviously stuffed to an enormous extent full of foam padding or some other material, and these help keep the hand safe during training and when we go to shows, made to look authentic, of course. And that really is everything now. So, thank you very much for watching. I hope you found it interesting. I find it interesting. And you can learn more by going to our Guild of Students page, or you can look out for our next video. And our next video will be on clothing, so what people wore in their everyday lives in the medieval period. So, again, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.